And I started to say no, and I was looking around for Gregory Peck, and my wife nudged me and said, "Go ahead, you can do it for him." And I was, boom.
Clint Eastwood, born in 1930, has spent more than 70 years in the public eye as an actor and director, and nearly as long generating headlines about his private life. He has been married twice, has been linked to a number of long-term partners, and is the father of 8 publicly acknowledged children born to 5 different women. Tabloid retrospectives often package this history into tidy lists of the women he could never get over. But the real record, built from court documents, biographies, and the women's own public statements, is messier, longer, and in places genuinely disputed. What follows is a factual account of the relationships that most shaped his life. Maggie Johnson, Roxanne Tunis, Sondra Locke, Jacelyn Reeves, Frances Fisher, Dina Ruiz, and Christina Sandera. Where claims are contested or come from only one side, that is noted rather than smoothed over. Before Clint Eastwood was a household name, he was a young man freshly discharged from the army, uncertain of his direction in Hollywood. In the spring of 1953, a mutual friend arranged a blind date with Maggie Johnson, then a student who also worked as a secretary and model. The two hit it off quickly, and by December of that same year they were married in Los Angeles County. Eastwood was 23, Johnson was 22. Their marriage would last, on paper, for 31 years, officially from 1953 to 1984, making it by far the longest of Eastwood's 2 marriages. In its early years, the couple lived a fairly ordinary, unglamorous life, well before Eastwood's 1959 breakout on the television series Rawhide changed everything. Fame brought money and opportunity, but by most accounts it also brought a pattern of infidelity that would define the marriage almost from the start. A recent biography, Sean Levy's Clint, the Man in the Movies, describes Eastwood as having conducted himself for much of the marriage as though he were unattached, picking up women in acting classes and even in the apartment complex where he and Johnson lived. Levy's account, drawing on interviews and Eastwood's own admissions, suggests Johnson was aware of at least some of this behavior at the time and chose to tolerate it rather than end the marriage. The couple had 2 children together, son Kyle, born in 1968, and daughter Allison, born in 1972, and for a period they separated informally before reconciling long enough to have their children. They eventually settled in Carmel by the Sea, California, building a home Eastwood designed himself, with Johnson largely raising their children while Eastwood's career and his other relationships pulled him elsewhere. During the marriage, Eastwood had a lengthy affair with stuntwoman Roxanne Tunis that produced a daughter in 1964, and beginning in 1975 he began a highly public, live-in relationship with actress Sondra Locke that would eventually make the state of his marriage impossible to ignore. Johnson filed for divorce, which was finalized in 1984. Reports on the settlement vary, with some placing the figure in the tens of millions of dollars, reflecting Eastwood's status as one of the highest-paid stars in the world by that point. Despite the years of strain, Johnson and Eastwood are widely described as having remained on cordial terms afterward, bound together by their now-adult children. Johnson remarried briefly to Henry Winberg in 1985, a marriage that ended within a few years and has otherwise kept a low public profile ever since. Their daughter Allison has spoken publicly about her parents' ability to put their children first even after the marriage ended, noting that her father made time for her and her brother despite his enormous workload. Roxanne Tunis, born Rose and Tunis in Scranton, Pennsylvania, in 1930, was working as a stuntwoman and actress when she met Eastwood on the set of Rawhide in 1959. Eastwood was, at the time, 3 years into his marriage to Maggie Johnson. Tunis was also married to Jack Watson Sheekhoff. Their relationship, which began as an affair, continued for roughly 14 years, lasting from 1959 to 1973. In June 1964, Tunis gave birth to a daughter, Kimber. Eastwood later said he did not learn of the birth until roughly a year afterward, a delay he described as having hit him hard once he found out. He remained involved in Kimber's life, though by most accounts his visits were occasional rather than constant, and Tunis raised her daughter largely on her own. Unlike several of the women who would follow her, Tunis never sought public attention